Hello and welcome to Angela's Busy Bees Garden and Homestead. Guys, I'm out on my balcony and I thought I'd come along and share with you what I've been doing and what's growing here on the homestead. I haven't posted a video in a while because we've been having all sorts of different kinds of weather. It's been warm. We've been having a lot of rain. Then we've also had some tornado warnings. And so I really haven't been able to post a video. But today I'm going to share with you what's growing on the balcony garden as well as the home garden and market gardens. So I'm going to begin over here. I've planted some zinnias, a few peppers. I think this is the red mini bell pepper. I purchased some more of the Dollar Tree stackables, and I'll be growing green beans in this one. This is an azalea. And here I have cayenne pepper. There were two in the container, so I split them apart. But I just planted them recently, so I know they'll spring back up. But over here, guys, on this side, I have my bok choy. And as you can see, it is starting to go to seed. I really don't know when to plant bok choy because I planted it early spring. And even still, before I could really get a nice harvest, it's starting to go to seed. Over here, the tulips came up beautifully. My chocolate mint is coming back. Over here, I have my spinach. And some of them are getting really tall and leggy, which makes me think it's going to be going to seed pretty soon as well. But what's going to happen when the spinach and the bok choy is no longer producing, I will take them out and plant something else since we have still a lot of time in this growing season. In here, this is a yellow mini bell pepper. I've added another tiered planter for strawberries. And as you can see, they're quite small, but they're coming along. I love using the stackable planters because you get to grow so much food in such a little space. Here is another mini, I think this is the orange mini bell pepper here. More azaleas and flowers. And this is supposed to be my kale plant, but it's looking like more like collards than kale. But the label said kale on the seed packet, so we shall see. But this is another tiered planter, and you can barely see the planter there with the way the kale has been growing quite beautifully. Now, one thing I did notice is that in this top one here, when I got to this one, I ran out of potting soil and went to Dollar Tree, purchased that Dollar Tree soil, and as you can see, it has just stunted the growth of my kale in every section here, which lets me know that if you use that Dollar Tree soil, you're going to have to really mix it with other potting soil because as you can see, the vegetables really don't grow very well in it. But with all the other containers, I used a Miracle Grow potting soil or a Stay Green potting soil, and they are doing absolutely beautiful. Over here is a regular bell pepper. Here I have my salad bowl mix. In this one I have I think it's a jalapeno pepper. Yep, jalapeno pepper here. And this is my herb tower. And I see the sage is coming, the cilantro, a little bit of the parsley here. But again, I used the Dollar Tree soil to plant these, and I'm assuming that's why a lot of things have not come up yet. But also, guys, we have hackberry trees here on the homestead, and these things drop, it seems like, by the millions. And I will be pulling these out of all of my flower pots and containers until this tree here has dropped all of those little, I call them little helicopters, but they are so annoying in the garden. I left space here, guys, so that I could easily walk up to this planter because I plan to plant some things in here. I've got more flowers here. In this one, I have some Dollar Tree freesias that's going to come up, hopefully. Some lilies here. These are some more zinnias. And over here, guys, I have another azalea. And this one here, this is my forget-me-nots. This is my first time growing them. I got the seeds from Dollar Tree. And in this tiered planter, which is another one that I've added recently, I'm growing celery and also celery and beets. And as you can see, they are doing nicely. And then, guys, on the table here, I have my red giant mustard greens. And it looks like, guys, I'm going to get a harvest this year. I planted them last year and they went to seed before I could really get anything out of them. But they're growing beautifully this year. And also on the table here, I have my Swiss chard. And they're leaning over right now because they've just recently been watered. But hopefully as the sun comes out, it'll perk back up. And here are some more of these things that I was telling you, they're constantly dropping. And if I leave them in the bed, they're going to seed itself. And the next thing you know, I've got little trees growing everywhere. But this is what the balcony garden is looking like. Today is April 7th of 2024. And I haven't put my cushions or anything out yet for the balcony furniture here because, of course, these little helicopters are falling everywhere. So I'll wait until they're done and all of the leaves have come on the trees before I bring out any of the patio cushions. But I'm going to take you now to the home garden and let you see what I have planted there as well. Okay? Okay, we're going into the home garden and I'm going to start over here to the left. And as you can see, my potatoes have come up. The red giant mustards are still growing. I pulled out all of the mustard greens and I added black-eyed peas into the empty cells that you see here. And I have some more red giant mustards in here and some in this container back here. Then, guys, over here, last year I planted tomatoes. This year I'm planting peppers. And so I have an assortment of different types of peppers, bell peppers, cayenne peppers, jalapeno peppers, different colored bell peppers, but they are all in these containers here. And the reason why you see these little pots still left in here because I want to come back and label. And please excuse my hands, I've been in dirt all day today. I don't know why this one is acting limp. But if it doesn't pull through, I'm going to remove it and add another one. And here are more peppers here. In the center here, I have some sage. Sage also here. In the center here, I have nasturtiums. And in the center here, I have onion chives. And as you can see, they're going to seed. And these are the jalapeno peppers here. I've also added some marigolds, and these are the marigolds that I grew from seed, and that's why they're looking like this. I did purchase some marigolds that are already flowering, just to add to what I have. And over here I have sage in here as well, and more sage and marigolds in here. Then over here, guys, I've planted 4 tomato plants. I'm going to add some basil to this raised bed as well. This is the bed where I have my garlic and shallots, and the shallots are coming up in the bed, but in the cells of the cinder blocks is where I have my garlic. But yes, I've planted 4 tomato plants in here, and what you see here in the middle here, these are alliums, and they usually have a beautiful blue or either purple flower, and it looks like they've already started to produce their flowers. Looking forward to that. Over here in the potato bed with the thyme and also this cedar autumn joy, look how beautiful it has shaped up after I removed all the dead parts of it. It's really a beautiful plant. But as you can see, the potatoes have come up, and I'm wondering if there are potatoes in these empty spots. I'll have to go back to my video because I remember when I planted these, I had Brussels sprouts growing, and so maybe where the empty places are could be where the Brussels sprouts were. So I may need to add some more potatoes just to take advantage of this bed. And then over here, guys, I planted tomatoes, some basil. In one of them, I think I have a cucumber, but these are the marigolds that I purchased from the store. But these are the tomato plants that I grew, and when I had them indoors, they were just screaming to come out. They've already been acclimated to outside temperatures. I don't know why they're looking so limp. Hopefully, when I water once again before dark, maybe by the morning, they'll perk up. I've noticed that, they're doing a lot of leaning, and I want to go on and clip the ones that are leaning and hanging low, but it looks like the entire plant is leaning. So if this doesn't pull through, I have more tomatoes inside. Over here, I have carrots, nasturtium, and more carrots growing really nicely. Over here, I have eggplant and marigolds. And the eggplants, they also were screaming to be planted in the garden because I think I started sowing seeds in February. And so they were really ready to come out. Here again, more tomatoes with basil and marigolds, tomatoes, basil, and marigolds over there. In this bed, guys, I'm planting my strike bush beans. They've already been planted today, and hopefully they'll be up within 7 to 10 days. But I also have some peas here that will be growing up this trellis here. And then right over here, I have some sugar snap peas along this trellis, and there's some spinach in here and lima beans that I've planted. And with the lima beans also in the cells, I've also planted more lima beans. Guys, if you can tell me what this bug is, I don't know what it is, but I'm definitely going to get rid of it with some diatomaceous earth. But they were really attacking my brassicas before I removed them from the raised beds. But this bed is going to have lima beans in the center and also in the cells of the cinder blocks. This one has green beans in the middle and also in the cells of the cinder blocks. And along the fence line, I have regular peas, but sugar snap peas here and sugar snap peas here. But in this bed and also in the cells of the cinder blocks, I have black-eyed peas. And then over here is a fig tree that has not leafed out just yet. And here are my sugar snap peas again over here. Blueberries over there, they've started flowering. Hopefully I'll get some blueberries this year, as you can see here. And then also the blackberries that are along the fence are getting ready to put on. Lots of blackberries, if you see what I mean here. And this blackberry bush was given to me by a neighbor, and I think it was at least 5 to 7 years ago. And last year he came to me and said that all of his blackberry bushes died. And I said, well, I can give you a piece of mine back so that you can start again. But now that these here are leaning down like this to the ground, I can simply get a pot of soil, stick it in soil and allow it to root, and then cut it off, and it is a whole new plant. And I can do that for about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, for about 5 branches that are hanging low like that. But guys, they are putting on fruit everywhere along the vine. And in this bed I have some parsley and sage. These are the mustard greens that are going to seed. They're going to be removed, and I'm going to add more lima beans to these cells and then add more herbs also to this bed. I also have some black-eyed Susans and coneflowers that I see are starting to come back really nicely. And I might add a few peppers also to this bed. So that's what I've done so far, guys, in the home garden. And now I'm going to take you over to the market garden. Okay, we're entering the market garden, and the first thing I want to show you are the beets. And in between each of the rows of beets, I've added some additional seeds of beets so that when I harvest these, there will be some more coming behind that I can harvest at a later date. This is where I have my spinach, bok choy, and onions. And as you can see, I had to cut off all of the tops of my onions because they were really getting tall, but nothing was happening at the bottom. So hopefully this will cause the bulb to start developing and enlarging. Over here I have my mustard greens. This is bed number 9. And where you see empty space, that's what I'm reserving for marigolds. But these are all of my mustard greens. These are new plants. The ones that were seeding were planted during the fall of 23. Over here, guys, I have some salad mix. Here's some more mustard greens, salad mix. And what I've done is I've sown more seeds for mustard greens in this container. So when it comes up, I'll be able to divide them up and transplant them into other cells of these cinder blocks as well, because I absolutely love mustard greens. And this one is empty, but it will be like this one, mustard greens. I'll add some over here as well. Now, these 2 beds to the left and also to the right are potato beds, except this one has oregano and thyme in it. And I was told that oregano and thyme helps to enhance the flavor and taste of potatoes, and it also helps to repel pests. But here are my white potatoes in this bed. In this bed, in the cells of the cinder blocks, I have spinach. Some of them didn't make it, but there's some here. And these are my red potatoes. And as you can see, they have already come to the surface of the soil and are quite large for this time of year. But they are looking good. In this bed, Guys, I've got carrots that have come up, and I have sown seeds for turnips. These are the 7 tops because I don't like the purple top that has the bulb. These are just leafy turnips, and so I've sown seeds. I think that there are about 4 rows of turnips in here, and if I need to thin them out, that's what I'm going to use in the cells of the cinder blocks to thin them out. Over here, guys, I have more of the beets, and as I've stated, like along in here and in between here, I've added more beets so I can have a continuous supply of beets for juicing. And then when we come over to this area, here I have my collards, and I've also planted some onions in this bed around the edge here. And I also have my okra plants, a long row here of okra. And I have a few okra plants that are here in the middle because I had so many and I wanted to plant them. I'm really hoping for a bountiful harvest of okra because I absolutely love okra and I like to cook it in stews and in gumbo. Over here, this is my asparagus bed, and it needs some weeding, but I think I'm going to harvest this one tomorrow. But I've been doing a lot of harvesting from this asparagus. Over here, this is my bed of cabbage, and if you recall, a week or 2 ago, I planted green beans all around the edge or the perimeter of this raised bed, and it looks like all of them have really come up so far. And so also in this bed I've planted my nasturtiums. They were also grown from seed. I've got 4 nasturtium plants in here and a couple of marigolds that I also grew from seed. Over here I have my broccoli, and I've also sown seeds for field peas in this bed. It's all intermixed in, but it's broccoli and field peas. Yeah, and so I have my broccoli growing, and garlic. That was my neighbor. He's the one that gave me the blackberries. But this is the broccoli. And then over here, this is where I have cabbage, Brussels sprouts, Swiss chard, kale. But I've got more that I can add to this bed. Just didn't get around to doing it just yet. But it's growing nicely. Over here, guys, I've got a couple of herbs, such as oregano and parsley and sage. But I also have garlic, cabbage. I've got about 4 tomatoes in here, basil, more garlic, kale, and I think I'm going to add some pumpkin seeds to this bed. And with all this room, as things grow, if I see that I can add some marigolds, I'll probably add a few marigolds to this bed as well. This bed here is going to be reserved for my sweet potatoes, and I'm not ready to plant them just yet. I think I might wait a little further, maybe towards the end of April. I'll get around to planting that. This is my bed of okra, marigolds, and peppers. And these were all planted from seed, guys, and can you see how tall they were? So it was really hard trying to keep these in the house or in the greenhouse because they were really ready to go into the ground. But here's that. And in the front here, these are the peppers. These are the grand mixed peppers, so I don't know what color they're going to be. They're in the front. Here's another sedum autumn joy here, and one here. And here are my okra plants, and I've got a couple of marigolds back there. I understand that marigolds help to fight off pests or disease from okra, so I'll probably be adding some more marigolds to this bed. I've been bringing things in and out of the house, going up and down the steps so much today. I think when I made that last trip, that was it for the day. But that's how this is looking. Over here, guys, this is a brand new bed that was started in the fall, and all I did after constructing it was to just put down a heavy layer of wood chips. And so now I'm adding compost to it before I add soil. But I'm going to use this bed for more peppers. In this bed here, I have zucchini and corn. This is the bi-colored corn, and all around the edges I've planted green beans today. So hopefully this will be basically the three sisters method of growing beans, corn, and squash here. And of course, this is the bed where about 2 weeks ago, or maybe less than 2 weeks, I started my field peas seeds, and some of them have germinated already, as you can see. Okay, and guys, these beds over here, I haven't done anything with just yet because of the grass. I want to make sure that I remove all of the grass out of here and then add more soil and fertilize it a little bit more. But I'm thinking about in this bed here planting tomatoes, basil, onions, and a few herbs. And then in this bed, to go along with this one, I want to plant some corn with the yellow crookneck squash, because I have the zucchini over here with the corn. And then I'll probably add green beans also. And in this bed here, that's also consumed with a lot of grass, is where I want to plant my watermelon and cantaloupe. And what you see here is just a lot of the collards that I had to dig out with a shovel, because as you can see, some of the roots were huge and the branches were huge. So it was really a tussle to get it out, but I managed, and I'm going to allow it to compost here in this bed before I plant. Well, it won't be fully composted, but I'm going to add soil on top and go on and plant. And over time, this, of course, will break down and nourish the plants. I also have some other kitchen scraps that I can add to this raised bed as well. So I'm just going to back up and give you a panoramic view. Oh, and this is a plum tree. And you can see the home garden from here. The grapes have started flowering, as you can see. And these grapes, guys, were purchased for $1 on clearance. So don't sleep on that clearance rack. And here's another one. I really need to get some string and tie it up on this fence, but as you can see, it's budding everywhere. This is a peach tree here. The roses are doing absolutely beautiful. Guys, if you're growing roses, be sure to plant garlic around it because it helps to repel a lot of pests that generally attack your rose bushes. And as I've stated, I have more Swiss chard to plant. I didn't get around to it today. And here's some lettuce. And this stuff here just keeps falling. But the onions are looking good. Another thing I need to do very soon is try to get a lot of dirt from around the bulb of the onion to expose the bulb so that it sits above the soil level. But that's it, guys. This is how I spent my weekend, April 6 and 7, 2024, preparing my garden for spring, and also preparing for the market garden that's going to begin on April 28th. And I also sell a lot of vegetable transplants at the farmers market. So I always have extra on hand. As I've stated, if those tomatoes don't perk back up, I have additional ones. And I'm so happy to be able to do that because sometimes you do have vegetables that don't turn out well, and sometimes you don't have enough time in the season to start over with seeds. But because I sell vegetable transplants, I always have many more than what I need on hand. But thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you all are safe and well, and that you guys are also preparing and getting ready to grow more in 2024. As Glades Garden Girl always says, I love that motto and I've adopted it. And all I can say is, guys, let's grow more in 2024. God bless. Bye-bye.